Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow feelings of any worry, stress, or tension to leave your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice any echoes of tension in your body. That could be in your forehead, your jaw, around your eyelids, around your mouth, your neck or your shoulders. And just allow your body to let go of anything not useful right now. Breathing in that resourceful feeling of relaxation. Continuing to exhale that tension, but also letting go of all those things that are holding you back. Worries, fears, memories, ideas. Allow it all to leave if it's no longer serving you. As your body relaxes, I want you to think back to a time where you started the day in an extraordinary way. I want you to imagine a town in the south of France. I want you to remember how you used to get up early. It's still dark outside. Perhaps you can remember walking to a beach. I want you to imagine you can see the sea, but everything's dark. The sun hasn't risen yet. Notice the quietness, the peace, the tranquility, that you are there connecting with nature. As you breathe in and breathe out there on that beach, looking out over the ocean, continue to get a sense that tension is leaving your body and feelings of resourcefulness going in through your nose into your lungs and starting to vibrate at a particular frequency. I want you to imagine that there is a slow transition of the frequency of ordinary towards the frequency of extraordinary. And notice that there are certain things that when you focus on them, shift that vibration to change your frequency to become more and more extraordinary. I want you to think even back then of just one thing that gave you an immense feeling of gratitude. Perhaps a family member. Perhaps the life that you'd created in that moment. As you continue to breathe in and breathe out, feeling that vibration change. There are clues, of course. The breathing rate changes. But I want you to imagine the vibration is not metaphorical. I want you to feel the cells, the molecules in your body starting to vibrate at that frequency, shifting from ordinary to extraordinary. And notice that when you're relaxed, that helps. When you're aligned, that helps even more. When you tap into that unchangeable part of yourself, that helps even more. When you connect with your higher self, your soul, it becomes easier to access the vibration of being extraordinary. You can look out over the ocean, see the stars, maybe the moon reflecting on the surface of the sea, feeling a breeze on your skin. And I want you to accept the suggestion that the true gift to feel extraordinary is to notice extraordinary things inside the ordinary. I want you to imagine hundreds of people walk past this same stretch of the beach and don't really appreciate the reflection of the stars or the moon in the waves. They can't feel a breeze on their skin and feel how incredible that is. They don't stop to think of their life, that the odds of them even existing are trillions to one, that they're even alive. And perhaps your gift is to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. As the sun starts to rise, get an appreciation that most people are just lying in their beds asleep, ready to do another day of mundane work. And yet there you are, seeing the extraordinary in something that happens every single day. And notice that as you focus on the extraordinary beauty in ordinary things, that vibration changes even more, giving you a sense of freedom, inspiration, feeling your vibration change, unlocking infinite creativity and spontaneity within you. And allow your conscious to keep relaxing and meditating and appreciating the sunrise on the beach as your higher self leaves your body and walks down the beach. Your higher self can turn around and see your physical body there, looking out at the sunrise, but the higher self continues to walk down the beach until you can see a hut there on the beach. And the higher self accepts that there is a well-intentioned part inside that hut that has been trying to soothe, trying to comfort, trying to help in some way, but perhaps not doing it the way that it could be done. I want you to accept the suggestion that this part of comfort is inside the hut, and that you are a manifestation of your higher self outside the hut. And I will count down from 5 to 1. You will open the door, walk into the hut, and on the opposite side of the hut will be a representation of comfort. Starting to count 5, putting your hand on the door handle. 4, turning the handle. 3, opening the door. 2, walking through the door. 1, closing the door behind you, and then seeing on the opposite side of the hut a representation of a part that is being trying to comfort. If you can see that part there, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to get a sense that this part looks very ordinary. A part perhaps created in childhood where how ordinary people seek pleasure and meaning is in the excitement of TV shows and the variety of flavors in food. And I want want you to communicate with this part and thank it for its positive intention. Tell them that you know that they're trying to help and you appreciate that they are trying to help. But I want you to communicate to this part that the way in which they are helping is causing frustration and problems. And I want you to imagine that you're streaming memories, thoughts, emotions, feelings as to how their way of comforting has affected you. But perhaps by trying to comfort you in the way that they're trying to comfort, they risk sapping you of the very meaning of your existence. And once you've projected all of the consequences of their way of helping, and that they've understood that and connected with that, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to ask that part if it's okay if I can communicate directly to it. And I want you to shift perspective so you're no longer in your higher self, but you're in the perspective of this part of comfort. Deep down knowing you desperately are trying to help. You want to do good things. You see someone that is not quite experiencing the life that they want, and you're just trying to help in any way that you can. And I want you to imagine that you're hearing my voice through the perspective of your higher self. And if you can hear my voice coming through that channel, let me know by nodding your head. And I also want to thank you. I know you have pure intentions, positive intentions. And I don't think you had any idea of the pain and distress and heartache that you were causing. And if that's correct, let me know by nodding your head. I also know that you know one of the most powerful things that can happen in a human or a part is atonement. Doing something to put right something that was unintentionally wrong. And if you'd like to make things right and to meet that intention of helping, but in a way that actually does help, let me know by nodding your head. Because I know you've been trying to create happiness through comfort. But there's a better way. True comfort and true joy and true happiness will come from inspiration, ideas, and observation, noticing the extraordinary in the ordinary. And you've had some level of responsibility, but I wonder what would happen if you had the ability to inspire rather than console, the ability to lift up rather than just placate frustrations. I'm going to stream an idea into your mind of you being responsible for inspiration, responsible for magical ideas, that you can become the minister, the idea generator, the high vibration entity responsible for the extraordinary, the chief extraordinary officer of this soul that you work with. It's a big responsibility, but it means that you can atone from the mistakes that were unintentional and create not comfort, but true joy, alignment, and feelings of being connected. And if you're willing to take this new responsibility, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. I want you to switch perspectives back into the higher self. As you observe this entity that used to represent comfort now is the chief extraordinary officer. See their clothing change, their facial expressions change. Feel the vibration coming off them as the highest vibration you've ever experienced. They're evolving in front of your very eyes. They look extraordinary. They feel extraordinary. And if you have confidence that this entity will inspire you to live an extraordinary life, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to give them a hug. Tell them you trust them. You have confidence in their abilities. And I want you to say 3 powerful words that will be your mantra going forward. Let's do this. And as you say the words, feel the vibration change in your body. And both of you leave at the very same time back on that beach. And as you walk down the beach, seeing the sun rising above the ocean, noticing how extraordinary it is, feeling the vibration, and then see that conscious part there on the beach, stepping into that part, accepting that the extraordinary can be found everywhere. It's not elusive, it's infinite. Just by noticing what most people don't see, stepping into the conscious part, all parts now aligned in one. As you return to the present, listening to my voice firmly in the present, but taking an evolved part that used to provide comfort and now will provide inspiration. All parts integrated into the present on a mission to live an extraordinary life with the motto, let's do this. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, all parts here in the present as I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8. Open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake. Wide awake. Wide awake.